Hi, it's Paddy Hirsch at Marketplace, here today to talk about counterparty risk. Reason? Because that is at the heart of what is going on in Europe right now, and it's at the heart of what's roiling the markets in Europe and Asia and in the US and giving us all a bit of a problem. So what exactly is counterparty risk? Let's get it up on the board here. Counterparty risk. Okay, now counterparty risk right now involves basically the banks. It's all about the banks. But in order to explain this, let's something a little more prosaic, perhaps. Let's have a bunch of school kids. Okay, so here's Alan. All right, a good lad, and here's his friend, John. Okay, John. Here he is. John likes his sweets. Okay, and he likes to do two things with sweets. Basically, he likes to eat sweets every single day. And if he doesn't eat them, he gets, he gets a bit agitated. But he also he's a bit of a hoarder. He hoards the sweets also. And, he hoards them for basically a rainy day, as he calls it. But because of this, John's father obviously wants to make sure that his son doesn't, swell up to a great size. So he kind of restricts the money that he gives him a little bit. So it means that John is constantly running into what we would essentially call in finance liquidity issues. Okay, he hasn't got enough money to buy all the sweets that he needs. So when that happens, what he does is he goes to his friend Alan, all right? So here's John's situation. He's got this big bag of sweets that he keeps. So he keeps them underneath his bed. And Alan's always saying, why don't you eat those sweets? And John's like, that's my store, that's my secret supply. But I still need money to buy more sweets. So Alan's like, all right, how much do you need? He goes, just $10. So Alan's like, okay, I'll give you $10 to buy your sweets, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to put these sweets up, your reserve sweets. I want you to put them up as kind of like in an escrow account. So if you don't pay me back in a week when you owe me the money, then I'm getting those sweets back. So John's like, oh, all right then. So what they do is they go and they find a friend of theirs who can run the escrow account from them, and that's Julia. Here she is. Nice lady. Nice little girl. So Julia says, all right, I'll be the escrow account. I'll hold those sweets for you while John's borrowing that money. And when he pays the money back, I'll give the sweets back to John. Quite simple, okay? That's the way it happens. Alan hands over $10. All right, John hands his sweets over to Julia. Come the end of the week, John hands back the $10, which he's got from his dad. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he managed to get them to come up with the money. And then Julia returns the sweets back to John. Very, very simple. That's essentially what happens in the banking business, all right? You have banks that don't just take savings and loans, and some of them don't even do that. They need lots of money to do the business that really makes them the real money, all this fee-based money, to do the trades, to work in mergers and acquisitions, to pay these huge staff of analysts and all the rest of it. All that stuff requires immediate money, immediate cash that they maybe don't have on the balance sheet. They have to keep money on the balance sheet, remember, to keep solvent these days because they're commercial banks. And so they have to borrow that money from somewhere. So where do they go? Well, they go to each other. And there's this big money go around where they're all borrowing money from each other all the time. And they're always putting up this collateral, which usually is securities of some kind, and can be pretty much anything: treasury bonds, regular corporate bonds, mortgage bonds, whatever. They put up this collateral in return for the loans that they get. So in other words, banks are just like schoolboys. Anyway, so what's happening right now is that the banks are looking at each other and wondering, whether or not their counterparties, the people that they are lending money to, are actually good for it. I mean, take our schoolboys, for example. Say John's father's in the news. His company's having a few problems, and every day he's on the front page of the news. Alan's going to be looking at John going, you know what, John, I'm not sure whether I trust you to be able to pay me that $10 back, because your dad's having some problems there, and I don't know whether you're going to be able to get the money from him, okay, to give me that $10 back. So I'm not entirely sure that I want to borrow that money from you. Or, sorry, lend you that money. John's like, well, what about this collateral? I'll give you all my sweets as collateral, everything. I've actually got more than one big bag of sweets. I've got several. I'll give you the whole lot as collateral, and I'll give you the $10 back. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of problems with that collateral, potential problems. You've had those sweets in the bag for a long time. I don't know if you've been rotating them through. They could be old. They could be made with corn syrup. May not be that good for your health. So, I don't actually know. I don't think you're a particularly good counterparty. Same thing's happening with the banks. They're looking at their counterparties. JP Morgan, say, might be looking at a Spanish bank and saying, I don't know how much exposure you have to Greek debt, for example, or how many Greek bonds you've got. I don't know whether I like the fact that you do so much business with Greece, or the fact that Spain itself is in a few problems, I don't know whether I actually want to do business with you. I don't know whether I trust you to pay me back. Spain's like, okay, I'll give you more collateral. I don't know whether I like your collateral. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know how much of it is Greek debt. I don't know how good Spanish debt is right now. I don't like your collateral either. So what the net, what's happening is that the counterparties are refusing to deal with each other in many cases. The banks are looking at each other going, I don't know how exposed they are to Greece or to Spain or to Portugal or any one of these troubled countries. I don't know how likely it is that the euro is going to survive. Maybe the euro is going to go under. I don't like the collateral that they're putting up, because who knows what's in that bag? Who knows how exposed the companies that that say it's corporate debt that they're putting up as collateral? Who knows how exposed each of those companies are to Greece or to Spain or to Portugal, or even to the whole eurozone, which looks kind of threatened right now. So I don't know whether I want to do business with you. Banks all over Europe are now starting to look at each other with a lot more suspicion. They're backing away from each other. And if this sounds familiar, it's exactly what happened whenever Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns went down. The reason that those two companies had a liquidity crisis was because nobody wanted to do business with them. They were not confident that their counterparties were going to be able to pay them back. Huge counterparty risk meant that nobody did business with each other, and the whole financial system ground to a halt, which is why the Fed stepped in with these big liquidity packages. People are really worried that the same thing's going to happen in Europe, that the banks are going to stop doing business with each other altogether. Then what that's going to do is it's going to make the Asian banks start looking at each other in a weird way, and looking at the European banks and thinking about not lending to each other, and also the US banks. So we could be going all the way back to our original credit crisis, all the way back to the foundations of another financial crisis. And that thought is what's roiling all the markets all over the world and leaving everybody right now kind of badly needing a drink.